Now, Southwest Airlines is total chaos. They don't have any assigned seats. So everybody pours out. You've flown Southwest recently? Jesse and Kelly DeForest, when we went to New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, they flew Southwest, no assigned seats. Helter Skelter. It's like Charles Manson took over the airlines. Exactly. Helter Skelter, my friend.
Exactly.
Imagine that. It's like musical chairs. All of a sudden, people are like diving for seats. As if you went to a concert and they just opened the gates or a ball. Imagine if you went to a ball game. And it happens at Saratoga, I guess, which is opening up later on this week, Saratoga Race Course, where the people are piled up by the gate. And as soon as they open the gate, they all make a mad dash to try and climb one of the tables outside. I mean, people running. People have guys stashed in there. They pay people to wait online and claim a table for them.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
All right, in the immortal words of the great late Gordon Soley, classic wrestling announcer, there you have it, my friends. There you have it. Little technical battle Lubie was undergoing earlier today as he's at Master Control there, which, as you can see, is very resplendently decorated, the Lubie Studios. I'm Jeff DeForest. It's the Defo Show. We got it on the air, which is great. South Florida Live. Among our very first initial technical glitches with the new channel, possibly sparked by the fact that we had the stuff on the road yesterday for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, which turns out to be a spectacular at Costa's Greek restaurant, Greek eatery. Fantastic place, man. You had that spinach pizza there. What is that? Spinach and regatta cheese?
Spinach and gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola. Yeah, wow, that was powerful. I had one bite, and it was enough to satisfy your culinary desires, for years. I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic. And then I'd been craving, for some reason, a falafel. I'm a big fan of falafels. Now, a lot of people make them in different fashions. Essentially, you have like a chickpea ball that's fried, of mashed chickpeas, kind of a hummus thing. And, that's really the essence of the falafel. A lot of people put different things on there, salad items and things like that. This was fantastic. I took one out to go. Now, no one could eat this in one sitting with the possible exception of Mike Mayo. But and other people that go 400 plus. But no, and Mayo should weigh 400 pounds, shouldn't he?
Yes.
How is it possible that this kid, goes around and is in reasonably decent shape and health, Mike Mayo? He's only a couple of workouts away from being in decent shape. Now, he is young, right? By my standards, anybody is young. You forget that you're an Alta Cocker, as you're eyeballing some 20-year-old chick while you're out there on the walking trail, and you're thinking, wow, she looks good. And you realize there's only like a 50-year age differential. Why don't I go ahead and make a move? Huh? If I wasn't married. It's always a restriction. We did locate the wife. She decided to extend her trip, but decided not to tell me about it, which is that like a test that a woman gives to see if you actually give a shit, that you wouldn't even call the next day?
I would
which
be really
I almost
mad,
didn't. Yeah.
Shirley and I would be I was talking to Shirley about it. There's no way. Like, when she does business dinner, she'll get home late. But when she's on a trip, first of all, I'd be the one picking her up most of the time. And if I'm not picking her up because we had a gig or we're working, I would know what's going on. There's a no.
I mean, it would be a concern if somebody popped an Uber from the Miami airport, say, after catching a flight that landed at 10 o'clock. Now, for me, it would be a little bit prohibitive. I would go down there, and pick her up. It wouldn't be out of the question. But it'd be a lot easier, especially with delays and the way flights are today out of smaller airports like Raleigh-Durham, where she was coming from. If this flight's delayed 2 hours, do I really want to be sitting there in the cell phone zone, which I don't even know where it is? I think it's in Hialeah if you're at the Miami airport. And then wait for a text so I could come and drive in there and pick up, in this case, the Mustang from her trip to Raleigh-Durham, visit her mother and her sister. But you would think, geez, a late night Uber, a lot of things can happen. So, if the person, and I was asleep, I was out cold when she would have been coming home. Usually I would wake up. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to wake me up. Although today was one of the first days, Lubie, in a long, long time, I actually slept to the alarm, which is really weird. Yes. Very strange. Yeah. I was having some kind of dream. You'll find this surprising. I was dreaming I was on a flight to Las Vegas. So that's a favorable sign, isn't it? Because you don't often remember your dreams because they tend to go away unless you just wake up immediately. You only remember supposedly the last few seconds of whatever you were dreaming. If you snap to attention to get up, which I did today, because believe it or not, because we were on WWNN and still are, I guess, with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show, which now airs at like 8 o'clock at night on these. WWNN would be a long shot to actually get a signal on that. The AM signal at 1470 at nighttime, it's snap, crackle, and pop, my friends. We're talking Rice Krispies. But they do have a number of FM affiliates, which is very popular. Didn't we, when we were at iHeart, didn't we have like 9 FM affiliates? And I don't know that they even wanted you to mention them, but what are those, man? I saw like a ham radio. I mean, where do you pick those up?
Well, for and it's actual FM.
Yeah.
iHeart, we were on like HD2 and
whatever that is.
Like special thing on your radio that we never totally understood. So we've learned early, you don't promote something you don't understand yourself. So we never promoted it. But for it's just regular FM. It's 95.3, 96.9, and then I think it's 95.9. They added a third that's like more north, which is cool.
They got a little Palm Beach market there. A lot of people catching the lunchbox, but I mean, it was prohibitive, trying to get that thing going on the FM signal. But anyway, this caused some problems, I guess. Your remote relocation yesterday, Lubie, which Mayo was saying that he was having some technical problem, and we just ignored it, of course, and said it's Mayo. And,
he wasn't wrong. It wasn't. There wasn't the phone, the microphone. Like when you were talking for the first half of the show, there was a clipping.
Oh yeah.
And the second half, it just magically stopped. And I've been racking my brain the last day to figure out why. And I think what happened this morning was why.
Okay.
We had an update that didn't tell me when your computer has an update, you get that little icon in the corner. I don't know what Macs do, but
I ignore them all. I want my computer to run like it was 1959.
That's not good.
I really do. I ignore them all.
So I didn't see that. I got an update last week, but I didn't get one this week. And this morning was stalling. I had to restart it 3 times and finally worked. So I'm like, I bet you that was why I was clipping. So anyways, we're here and good morning to you.
All right. All right. Well, and as Tony Segreto was going to join us later on with Old School with Tony Segreto would say, we've peeled back the curtain on what's going on here, South Florida Live. And so far it's been a real bunch of mumbo jumbo, but we're here and happy to be with you on what would normally be just a dark day in the hearts of many sports fans. It is Black Wednesday, my friends. Now, there used to be 0.0 Blutarski activity. The WNBA a couple of years ago tried to take advantage of that, and they had like a full slate of games. It was like Christmas Day in the NBA where they put on like 5 games now. Hey, who do Heat playing? Oh, yeah, going against the Cavs. They have LeBron back? No? Okay, I don't want to watch then. And that's a pretty large slate of games. I mean, is there anybody out there, show of hands out there? I know we have nothing but diehard sports fans that listen to the program. Maybe some guys that need a good laugh every now and then. But are you really watching all 5 NBA games on Christmas Day, Lubie? I mean, as diehard of an NBA fan as you are, have you ever watched all 5 games, even pieces?
100%.
Pieces of a Dream, the old name of an album.
Before Married Life, I definitely did.
You watched all 5 NBA
games? Sure. I could watch all day.
Oh,
are you kidding me? I'm Jewish. God. This wasn't that big of it. I would hang out with my friends, but even if I hang out with my friends, they were into basketball. So the basketball was always on. And if I had nothing to do, I can watch college. Shirley can't understand this, but I can watch college. Remember, college football starts at 12 and it goes all the way. If you watch the Hawaii game till like 2,
3 in the morning. Yeah.
I've never done the Hawaii. The professor's the only one that can do that, but I can watch from 12 in the morning till the prime time, which is usually like 9. So I can watch 12 all the way to 12, 100%. I've done that many a time. Just camped out.
The Mustang gets into sports a little bit. My first wife knew nothing about sports. Couldn't tell you, if you held up a bowling pin and a basketball, she couldn't tell you which one was the bowling ball. I mean, a bowling pin. Second wife was, modest sports fan, but, the question was always the same. And I guess it applies now to people that watch TVG, which is the racing channel, and that's on all the time in any place that I'm living. And, women after a while, they start wondering, do you do anything else besides watch that channel? And then they start checking, bank accounts and credit card withdrawals and things like that. And they realize that you were plunging your brains out every day while you're pretending to take a nap. Like you're sending it in. You're betting, back wheels and wheels galore on races at Parks and Belterra. Parts unknown racetrack. Yeah. They're taking, time to get into the gate for the second here at Parts Unknown Downs. Which we'll bet anything. Saratoga is going today, so that kind of makes up for a little bit of the Black Wednesday. But one WNBA game on the schedule. That's the only thing you could bet on, and they don't even list it in terms of a price here. I'm looking at my post line, which is among the first things I turn to every day. Post line, see what's going on action wise, and they actually have posted the odds for Week 1 of the National Football League. That's getting a little ahead of yourself, is it not?
Nice.
And the Rams is a 1-point favorite over the Bills. Rams at home, only a 1-point favorite over the Bills on the Thursday night opener.
Well, everyone
the Bills that highly regarded. I don't know. Are they that great? Stephon Diggs, he's still with the Bills, right? You never know who's still around. And what?
Yes.
Allen, is he really going to light it up this year, or does he still have a tendency to throw the old gyroscopic ball where it starts going this way and then goes that way? All right, so that leads it off the Thursday night game. Rams 1-point favorites over the Buffalo Bills. That seems like a very. Would you not think that the Rams at home on opening day, defending their Super Bowl championship, or were they on the chicken circuit? What do we know about the Rams? Let's research this. Like Louie Lubitz.
They lost Von Miller, but they brought in someone better and younger. I'm trying to remember who. And they kept everyone else, and they should be amazing. Yeah, the Rams should be great, but a lot of people think the Bills were close to beating the Chiefs. And not the Chiefs. The Bills were close to beating, the Bengals. The Bills were close to getting the Super Bowl, beating the Chiefs at the second round, right? They played the Chiefs in the second round.
Everybody thinks they're going to be great this year. Right.
So that's what it is. It's not that they're underestimating the Rams. It's the Bills are supposed to be right there. This is supposed to be, they almost did it last year, so this is the year.
The Rams went out of their way. They signed everybody, right? I mean, they got most of their guys back. They even talked Donald out of retirement, right? Which I don't know how serious he was about that, but he got his money.
They talked about retirement.
Why would they be any worse? And at home, the Bills having to go to West Coast opening night on a Thursday night game. 1 point. That's an oddball line. I would think the Rams would be favored by what? 3, 2 and a hook, something like that. Okay, let's look at the slate here. See what the level of respect is for the Miami Dolphins. 2.5-point favorites at home over the New England Patriots. Miami Dolphins. The believers in Tua are out there, my friends.
There you go.
They're called the odds makers. Now, that's a relatively short spread. The Patriots weren't that great last year. Mac Jones, he looked very promising to me. Lubie thinks he's garbage.
I don't know.
But you thought that going in, and I thought he distinguished himself pretty well. There was that one game. What was that? A Monday night game? And they were on TV in prime time when he had that horrible game. When the wind was blowing like 100 miles an hour, and he threw 3 passes. It was like Bob Greasy going out there and trying to win a Super Bowl there with Paul Warfield as a decoy. Give me a break.
Yep.
Throws 7 passes and wins the Super Bowl. So the Finns are favored on the opening week line by 2.5 points. Now, these games don't take place till, believe it or not, Sunday, which is 9/11. People are screaming again, too. Of course, Donald Trump has embraced the Live Tour coming to his course. And hates the PGA because didn't they defect from a bunch of Trump courses?
Probably.
After Trump committed one of the many atrocities that seemed to have taken place during his presidency, even though the people still love him, right? Unbelievable, Lubie. Still love this guy.
All do. There's a lot that do.
Like the most despicable piece of human excrement that you could ever put into any position. Much like, it's okay if he's screwing people in his own private business, but as a president of the United States, please.
Not great.
Okay. The economy was good there for a while. This is cyclical type of stuff. It was due to cycle down. No great endorsement for Joe Biden, who seems to be brain dead. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's 100%.
Among presidents, you're not going to look at, back in history and go, I tell you what, look what that Joe Biden did when he was in office.
Nice. I think he's doing fine, but it's not him. I think unlike Trump, has good people and listens to them. Joe Biden himself is doing nothing. He's senile. He's obviously senile. It's well known.
Trump very vocal about the fact that he embraces the Live Tour. He thinks the PGA players are a bunch of assholes for ignoring the fact that they had a chance to cash in now, grab this Saudi money, and play on his golf course in New Jersey which I believe had one of the. It was either that course or another. Was it Doral? Someplace they were going to have a tournament, and they just said, "Oh, it couldn't have been Doral because they don't play it anymore." But one of the Trump golf courses, the PGA just said, "We're not playing there because this guy's a jerk." And so he took exception with that, naturally. Not one to be overwhelmingly sensitive or offended, Donald Trump. We've seen that from these January 6th, hearings where, it wasn't like he was inclined to curl up in the fetal position and cry like a baby. Why don't they love me? Anyway, all of this asinine stuff. But, it does seem odd, to come out in favor. Now, people would say on the other side, because immediately you got to jump down, the throat of anybody who's making a statement, even though this is just my opinion. From watching what's going on, I've been following this for forever. Was always, slightly inclined to get into a little bit of politics, which is why I think it's kind of stupid that, people find it so divisive. Why should it be so divisive to discuss ideas about elected officials? These are people that we supposedly put in office, although, if you listen to the Trump dialogue or conversation, of course he should still be in office, whether he had to hang Mike Pence to get there or whether he got the votes in Georgia that he was counting on. All I need is another 11,568. Can you possibly do something about that?
What does that mean? I love the stuff that comes out.
That's all I need. Another 11,000 votes, I would have won this thing. Can't you find him? This is a guy that's screaming about corruption, and he wants these guys to find another 11,000 votes for him. Incredible.
Well, he just want corruption against him. He's okay with corruption for him.
Yeah.
He's been pretty clear about that.
Most people are, when it goes against you, it's never pleasant. Anyway, so that's going to be a source of controversy. I think that comes up not this week, but next week. The Live Tour tournament in New Jersey, which obviously is in close proximity to the World Trade Center and the tragedy of 9/11. Which is why I brought this up in the first place. And the people are going to be protesting and all of that. And I don't know that it amounts to much. Mickelson is going to blow by him. All of these guys, they don't care. They got their money. Most of the golfers that didn't take the cash are saying, well, where's the competition? You already got paid. Where's your incentive to really be good at this? We did see that these players still have plenty of ability. I mean, Dustin Johnson was a contender there, at the British Open. And, all of these guys that, not all of them, but, the American guys that left. Koepka seems to have lost his game. I don't think he's the same guy that he was a couple of years ago. No. Injuries. DeChambeau showed signs that maybe he can come back. He was also kind of plagued by injuries the last year or so. Certainly very capable. And some of the other guys that defected, could easily, I don't know, can you call it defected? I mean, they chose to play on the Live Tour and take the money and the easy option out. And there would be a lot of appeal to that, right? If somebody told you could work 2 weeks a year, Lubie, and do like one show on each of those 2 weeks and make 10 times, 100 times the money that you ever dreamt of in your career and get that all up front, might be an inclination to go ahead and do that.
I have to consider it for sure. I still wonder if I'd be able to, like, just thinking about all the Saudis were involved. Look, and I get it. Like the PGA, it's not like the PGA wasn't doing indirect business with people from Saudi Arabia. I understand that. I understand that we all every day work with people that we don't know what they're doing in their personal life. All that's true. But to me, there is something different than working directly for the man. Because again, the guy who is owning this league is the guy that did it. Like, he's the definitive guy. He's the prince that had the money, that is pretty well known, was behind 9/11 and was behind Khashoggi. Like, it's not like you can be delusional.
And who knows what else? I mean, those are just things that we know about. Yeah.
So that's my problem, is like you're definitively working for directly someone who did these things. It's not even like you can sort of fool yourself. So yeah, if they're offering me millions of dollars and I'm making what I'm making now, yes, I would have to consider it. I'd hope my principles may win out. I just don't understand these people. Like, they're not in that place. Like we talked about, like, is the money going to change your life? No. Hundreds of millions, 25 million. I mean, you're still going to have your cars and your jets and your boats. And whatever.
Ricky Fowler could never make another putt in his life, and he probably lived the rest of his life very comfortably. And even though a lot of people would consider his career to be somewhat of a minor disappointment, no? considering the hype that was associated with this guy. I remember I happened to be watching TV. Jim Sarney, our good friend Jim Sarney, who, wow, did that lasagna thing that he had at Costa's look great? The Greek lasagna?
Pistizio, I
Unbelievable.
told you, Pistizio, amazing. It's so good.
Man, that looked good. I don't know. Did you cop a bite of that, Lubie, before you got out of there? No?
We'll be there again. There's too many stuff there. If I try to do that.
He says, no reason to cry about Black Wednesday because you could be betting on soccer right now.
Soccer friendlies. That's what he wants.
Soccer friendlies.
They're not even real. They're friendlies. And half the time, the real players don't play.
Right. The superstars are all home. They're smoking a joint, watching this thing on TV along with Jim. And you're betting on that. Hard pressed to come up with something. Although Saratoga makes up for it. We have a couple of people that weighed in on that. Big Possum back with us on the chat line. Hadn't seen much from Big Possum lately. He was huge with us in the very beginning, always with encouraging messages, which we appreciate greatly. And Anthony says, bet the Ortiz brothers in every race. Just box them. Irad and Jose Ortiz, and they're like 1-2 lights out. Saratoga dominating the meet so far, so we'll see what happens there. But it's not as dastardly as it used to be, the Black Wednesday thing. I don't know that I could have encouraged myself to bet WNBA games as a substitute for. And I'm not a big baseball bettor. I'm not going to try and imply for 1 second here that I'm betting my brains out on baseball. I don't. I do enjoy betting my 2 and 3 team parlays whenever I'm in some gambling destination or casino destination that has sports betting, which unfortunately, hey, Ron! We need Ron DeSantis to just wake the fuck up and redo that deal. Why did he have to do it in such a clandestine fashion here? Attache full of cash. I don't know. Did he get paid in wampum? I mean, what happened here?
I'm sure he was involved. He hasn't hit anything he's done. That's what's annoying is he's been Mr. Business, and that's the one thing where it would make more money than anything in this state of all states. And that was the one thing he tried to pull a move. It was like, come on, man. You didn't have to pull a move there. Like, just let everyone have fucking gambling. Let's go for it. Why not?
People are doing it anyway. I mean, that's the dumbest part of it all. I mean, to jump on this bandwagon so late. Every sport is involved in it. You have now, sports, individual sporting entities encouraging the people in individual stadiums to go ahead and put sports books in. Right there, right? We can bet the thing at the ball game. Now, most people are betting this stuff on a phone app. I'm not inclined to apply for any of that because I really don't want access in my hand 24 hours a day to bet my brains out. I'd rather bug a friend. If I have something I just really want to bet, like a fight or something, I'd rather call somebody else, which I guess is annoying, right? Because then they don't know if you're going to pay and when they're going to see the money. I would like to think I'm reliable on that, but because you don't want to stiff somebody that laid out money on a bet for you. That's really ugly. That may be the worst affront to degenerate etiquette that you could possibly have. Very commonly done, right? Hey, could you bet 50 for me on this horse? Yeah. I'm going to go to the ATM machine right after this race, and then you split. I mean, you have to have some kind of ethical foundation if you're going to be borrowing money. That's our all-time credo of degeneracy. If you're going to go to the track, bring your own money.
Yep.
That really, and if you're going to gamble, just bring your own money. I mean, it's one thing, you ran out, the guy picked you up at the house, you didn't have time to get any cash, so he gives you a couple of sticks. That's one thing. But don't be making guys make bets for you and then you never pay them. That's just awful. Doesn't Mayo owe us that dinner? No, but he hasn't been like ducking the issue. See, and as long as you address it every once in a while, like when you owe somebody money. Like you go, hey, yeah, I know I owe you those two dimes, but I'm a little short right now. Does that seem to pacify the guy that you owe the money to that maybe eventually he's going to see his cash? Or is that just an unacceptable, pathetic way to try and get a continuation on a loan that you aren't paying? What do you think, Lubie? If you address it once in a while, like you bring it up before the other guy goes, hey, Deef, you got my 2 dimes? Yeah.
I think he would have paid it off. Like, look, I'm not going to lie. At least for me, I don't have any weeknights free right now with the basketball, which ends next week. Thank goodness. It's like never ending. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have something going on. And you guys during the weekends have your own stuff. So that's why we have it for me. Now, after next Monday, my season's done. Or next Wednesday, I guess, if we go to the championship. My season's done. Then I'm free Mondays and Wednesdays. So then that's when I would apply the pressure to Mayo. But as of now, I'm not putting it on him because he's
for the payoff on the bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if he ever pays it off. I'm just glad we won it. in that case, right? That was a thing where if we were wrong, we were going to be in such disgrace. I mean, that really should have been, Mayo could have negotiated that consideration, that it should have been a loser leaves town situation if we lose.
Honestly.
Since we were so sure that the Panthers were going to win that first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's very sketchy. Very, very sketchy.
That's scary.
Anyway, so it's a Black Wednesday here, and they're featuring the odds for the opening week NFL. And how about this? The opening week of college football. Opening day of college football. Apparently, are there any like obscure games that they get in there before? I mean, it happens every now and then.
I don't know if
where like Liberty is playing Coastal Carolina or something, and that's the season opener.
Exactly.
But I guess this is what they consider the start. Whoever these odds makers that are posting this consider the start of the college football season. What would be Saturday, August 27th, Lubie. 5 weeks away. Saturday, August 27th.
Yes.
Would you lay 27.5 with Utah State over UConn? UConn's awful, right?
Yeah.
They got rid of that coach that was like 3-73. They finally got rid of that guy. He's a real nice guy. 27 and a hook. Are you inclined to lay 27 and a hook with Utah State over UConn? Florida Atlantic is favored by 7 over Charlotte to open up the season.
Jesus, it's
not exactly a bunch of marquee matchups here, slated on August 27th. Nebraska goes against Northwestern. They're favored by 12. So what are you doing? Are you betting chalk to open things up? And then you have the CFL, which tomorrow night they have their Week 7 matchup. Other than that, nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. The Monday night game in the NFL is the Broncos and the Seahawks.
Okay.
Sort of interesting, right? Broncos with Russell Wilson going against his old team.
Yep.
And they go to Seattle. Now, who's going to quarterback Seattle? Who's left over there? Anybody? Kirk Cousins? Did they acquire him?
They brought in the quarterback from the Broncos. I'm trying to remember his name, which now I can't remember his name. But the quarterback from the Broncos that they kept wanting to be their future quarterback, but he obviously wasn't. And I don't know who else they have. They have
was that Locke? Locke?
Drew Locke. Good job by you. Drew Locke. Yeah, Drew Locke is the guy they brought in, but I don't know if he's the guy that's actually going to be their starting quarterback. I don't know who. It's sort of a disaster. They're sort of tanking openly for the next year's draft because there should be 2 to 3 guys that are legit, as opposed to this draft that sucked at quarterback. Bryce Young, Stroud look like guys that are going to go top 3. Plus, you have the Canes kid who may continue to grow, the Gators kid. Like, it looks like a really good crop of quarterbacks. So the Seahawks sort of have slow played bringing in a quarterback.
All right. In other words, they don't have a quarterback.
They don't.
They got rid of Russell Wilson, and that's it. 4.5. You only have to lay 4.5 with the Broncos to go into Seattle. Russell Wilson's return. He'll be widely celebrated, I would imagine. I can't think that the Seattle fans, don't they strike you as being maybe kinder, gentler? Like they're not inclined to just boo a guy. I mean, did he? How badly did he want out of there, Russell Wilson? He had implied that a couple of times, and then all of a sudden it happened, and he's gone. So Seattle in rebuilding mode, only getting 4.5 at home from the Denver Broncos. Week 1 Monday Night Football. I say we go to the bank and just unload. Seattle beats him somehow, don't they? Russell Wilson has an embarrassing ball game in the first start as a Bronco. The next day, the headlines in the Denver Post are whole move's a failure. I wish we could rethink this thing. And then they go on and win the NFL championship eventually as Wilson gets it together the next week. All right, so that's it. A Black Wednesday. Not totally dark, but not great. I don't know, Jimmy. I love Jim Sarney, but I'm not going to, break with tradition and start betting soccer friendlies just to have something to do. The baseball thing, like I said, I don't bet a lot of baseball anymore. I don't even know what you would base your bet on. Unless you were betting the American League in the All-Star game, 9 straight. Did you catch any of the All-Star game action last night?
Oh, I didn't watch any of it. I watched a lot of the home run derby the night before. Last night we got into stuff, and then I wanted to catch Alcantara, and then when I was about to turn to it, Alcantara had already pitched. So I'm like, I don't know if he's going to get another inning, so I didn't care after that. I didn't watch 1 second of the All-Star game.
Julian says Geno Smith.
I was just going to tell you, I looked it up. Smith is on the roster.
Ever present, yeah.
And I think there's some other quarterback on the roster that I'm trying to find now.
He's backing up Locke. Okay.
Yeah,
well informed is Julian, man. I mean, who knows where Geno Smith is? That could have been part of the trivia challenge tomorrow. What team is Geno Smith with now?
Oh, yeah, that would have been 100%.
And, you would imagine that could have gotten by just about any. That could have been a 5-pointer, right? That's a tough one to come up with. But, yeah, it's, it's kind of fun when you bet a couple of bucks on a baseball parlay or even one game, I guess. All of a sudden, every pitch, as we say, becomes of, absolute, gigantic importance. And yet, without it, I don't know. Baseball, last night's All-Star game was as dull as you could possibly get, wasn't it? You had 20 straight hitters for the National League go up there and not get a hit.
Oh, my gosh.
They retired 20 straight batters, I think, and 9 different American League pitchers had hitless innings that they were involved in. 9 different American League pitchers didn't give up a hit in the ball game. The National League got up 2-0, and then Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-run home run in the 4th, and that was followed by a solo shot that ultimately turned out to be the difference maker. They gave the MVP to Stanton, which what would you think was more important? Did he have another hit in the game or do something else of any significance? Because
home run.
Yeah, he had the home run, a 2-run homer, but wouldn't the guy with the game-winning homer be more valuable than the guy who tied the game in the 4th inning? You would think. Anyway, that'd be a toss-up. Maybe co-MVPs were in order there. So if you cash that on Giancarlo Stanton, congratulations, as he crushed that. I mean, what looked like a meatball. That thing looked like it was straight off the tables of Materano, didn't it? Who throws one right down the center of the plate to Giancarlo Stanton? Who still, I mean, you look at the productivity of these major leaguers today. I have to get off this, don't I, Lubie? 250 should be considered like the measuring stick now instead of 300, shouldn't it?
Probably is 100%. We're stuck on that because to me, I grew up in the era where John Olerud and the Big Cat were trying to get to 400. I grew up where Edgar Martinez would bat 350 to 370, and
George
it
Brett,
was routine.
Rod Carew.
That was the era right when I was really young, but like I grew up when average was a huge deal, so I'm with you where I look at these averages and it makes me sick, these averages, but like it's a different day. It's a stupid day because like you just said, like you had the best hitters versus the best pitchers, and the pitchers aren't that much overwhelming. It's not that they're that overwhelming. It's the hitters only want to hit home runs. So if you're only going for home runs and you're a pitcher, that makes it a lot easier on you. Like these guys don't try and work counts. They don't try and get on base. They just want to hit home runs. Okay. So it leads to really boring games.
20 straight guys go down. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's not the pitching. Like the pitching is good, but it's not that. I mean, come on.
These are the all-stars. They're the best hitters in the game. I mean, I know they're going against the best pitchers theoretically, but nonetheless, I mean, to retire 20 straight guys in an all-star game, holy Juan Marichal. I mean, what the hell is going on out there? That was kind of boring. I mean, I would have to say it was 3-2 in the 4th inning. That's the way it ended up, and didn't generate a ton of excitement. I don't believe. If you got 20 straight guys going down, it's like watching the Marlins play on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
Absolutely ridiculous. So 3-2, the final there. The American League wins it. That's 9 straight All-Star games captured by the American League. Now, here's your trivia question. There'll be a prelude because I'm going to have to come up with a bunch of stuff for tomorrow because Gurgles is still in the Maldives. So we'll have a version of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, but it'll be my version. No, we can come up with some stuff. But all right, so what would you say? I mean, does that demonstrate superiority by the American League? 9 straight All-Star games.
I don't know.
During that period of time, Lubie, what would you say the record of National versus American League is in World Series play, which you would think is a more decisive and definitive measuring stick of who has the better league? They've lost 9 straight All-Star games in National League. How have they done in the last 9 World Series, National League versus American? What would you think?
Pretty dominant. I know the Dodgers have won one. I know the Cubs won one. But I think they've been...
Braves won last year.
Yeah. And you had the Braves, you had the Red Sox, you've had the Astros. I don't know. I feel like it should be somewhat even. I don't think the AL, because you usually hear about it when the AL is dominating.
Good call there, Lubie. Somewhat even is right where it's at. 5-4. The National League has won 5 of the last 9 World Series. The American League has won 4, but 9 straight All-Star games. So I don't know. Could you make the argument that, well, when you get the best players together, not just the best teams, but that the American League has superior players?
I guess.
Not based on this one stupid exhibition game. That's for sure.
I don't think they give a shit.
That'll be an argument on Get Up or something.
Exactly.
Mike Greenberg talking about, well, does this mean the American League is much better than the National League? And what do they have to do to catch up?
Exactly what they have to do to catch up. exactly.
We'll have who's the guy? Kendrick Perkins. Is that the guy
Perk.
now?
Yeah, man. They love
Perk.
him.
Yeah, we'll have Perk on that coming up here because now he's doing baseball and everything else. Because if you can say enough things that nobody can understand, pretty good chance that you're going to be their universal commentator. Thus, I give you Stephen A. Smith. Unbelievable. Where's Stephen A. been, man? I haven't seen him screaming on TV. What's going on? Is he on vacation
He
or something?
just explained it. They wrote a whole article about it. He had he had like shoulder surgery.
Oh, yeah?
So, or something.
What,
Yeah,
from
something.
gesturing while he was talking?
He played basketball growing up, and I think he played in college. So maybe, and he probably played pickup his whole life. And
yeah,
he's also very gesticular. So
it's called getting old, my friend. Yeah.
So he said something about that. I read an article. Stephen A. explains where he's been. I was like, oh, I didn't even know he was gone. So that's that. There you go.
All right. Well, I hope we're a nice prelude for your Black Wednesday activities here today. Looks like the options on the track are betting soccer friendlies. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. You don't have any problem finding a betting option when you go to Hialeah Park, man. All your favorite Vegas-style games there in a beautiful casino. They did a great job on that. I remember looking at the plans, and they seemed a little far-fetched when John Bernini Sr. laid it out. And a lot of people, Tony was there that day. He was emceeing the press conference. And one great thing about Hialeah, I thought, okay, even if this doesn't amount to much, because it seems like a bit of a, I wouldn't say pipe dream when John Bernini Sr. was behind something, there was a good chance it was going to happen. But it did seem far-fetched at the time that somehow Hialeah would be able to come back as a casino and find, any kind of, foundation of success. If they ever got it off the ground, and sure enough, they did it. And I remember looking at like a model of the plans, and they did a marvelous job of executing all of that and actually bringing it. You would expect no less from the crew over there, including Dennis Testa, who's been doing a marvelous job with the grounds there forever. I'm not sure what level of involvement he had. I would imagine he had a lot of input into how they were going to put this thing together. Casino's great. The Champion Simulcasting Room is fantastic. Frank Fiore gave me a tour a long time ago of what they were conceiving as the Champion Simulcasting Room. This was even before like the whole casino notion started, back when they were still having like match races and stuff. And it was kind of small. It was just really like the Brass Rail Bar area, Lubie. And then they expanded it, made it like beautiful. It's really incredible. Everything they did there, they did top notch. And, that's kind of what you expected from Hialeah throughout their history. And it's just a dynamite place to go. Great entertainment destination, beautiful Hialeah Park. Whether you're punching the horses at Saratoga today, playing poker, high-end, high stakes, 1-2, whatever it is that your pleasure is, or going and trying your favorite Vegas-style games in the casino, no place like beautiful Hialeah Park to do it. And a lot of special events. Check out their website, hialeahpark.com. Tony Segreto is going old school here in just a few minutes on the program. That's brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and also Catholic Health Services. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. Tomorrow, we have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, and then Friday, a Degenerate Friday with the Professor and Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, and hopefully some gambling insight for you here on the show. Later on today, 12 o'clock, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, and tomorrow, Mike's on the road with Nikki Mohan, who outstanding local broadcasting talent, who is now part of our crew here on South Florida Live every Thursday. And you guys are going to be scarfing down a bunch of ice cream?
I have no idea. We've been eating a lot of ice cream lately, and I know it's like record-setting heat, so I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, I've never seen someone have such a sweet tooth.
Unbelievable. Now, did you have anything else besides that slice of pizza? You must have had something else there. Did you poach one of those lamb chops that Mayo had?
I had a little bit of the lamb chop, and it was great. They actually made it like true blue medium rare, which it's especially for lamb. Like they'll ask you how you want it, but I've never seen it be like a steak. So that was cool that they made it that way, and it was amazing. And Shirley loves stuffed grape leaves. And what's interesting, so dolmades is what they call them. What's interesting is most places are really small. They're good. The way they do it at Costa's, they're massive. They're really big, and then they put like a lemon sauce over them. So they're freaking insane. So I got an order of those to go for her. Like I was full after eating the pita when they give you the hummus and the tzatziki. Like that fills me up. Like I don't really need a lot after that. Like that
food. I mean, what happened to you, Louis? You used to be able to eat.
I never eat a lot. I like a lot of different stuff. I never eat a lot. I'm just always futzing. So it looks like I eat more than I really eat. I can't eat a lot. It like makes me tired. And when I'm in a work mode,
I would argue, against that. I really would.
I just fill my plate up, but if you notice, I never finish it. I just like
that time you had the crab legs at Gulfstream. It really did. It looked like you were pulling up one of those pots where they start cheering on Deadliest Catch. Yeah, there it is. 500 of them, Joe. We got them.
I can't help myself but to take it, but I usually don't finish it. Ask the professor. They used to call me To-Go Box. That was my nickname. After every gig, I would always take a To-Go Box home because I can't finish my meals.
The particularly ugly aspect of being an enabled media member. When the host, wherever it is that you're doing a show from, extends you the courtesy of having something on the house, and then you take several meals to go. That's
I one meal.
I just found that a little bit low class, Lubie, I have to say. The doggy bag is one thing. You can't finish what they served you, but when you're ordering 2 specific meals to go and then charging it to the house, it's just ugly. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Tony's going to be coming up here in just a few minutes on the show. Tony Segreto goes old school, and we'll see what Tony has to say about all of these things, including, Tony's got to be all over this. Nick Saban's opened up a big mouth. About the status of college football, as if he cares. Does he really care what happens in a game?
Well, he doesn't want it to go away. He needs it to be this. That's why he doesn't care about other. Whenever he references like the small guy, he doesn't care about them.
Right.
He just needs them so that he can be the big guy.
You think he's worried about Buffalo State?
Oh no.
And what happens in their program? I don't think so. Right? No. Are all the coaches there? Well, a lot of guys are going to lose jobs. Well, then don't be part of this ridiculous dominance, Nicky boy. If anybody's taking advantage of it. And how is it? Did he do a 180? Because Jimbo still hates him, Jimbo Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
He called Nick Saban. This is good. He actually said, Jimbo, not exactly, in my opinion, some saint, I don't think. No. But, he said that Nick is despicable. Despicable. Because he was insulting him about buying all of his players, and then Nick backtracked on that. Saban said, well, you know what, I shouldn't have singled out Jimbo Fisher because I'm doing it too. No, he never said that.
No, he wouldn't admit to it. But
he's like the Live Tour golfers that are saying they really didn't do it for the money. They just want to help grow the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Very nice.
No one's watching.
That's the way to grow it, man.
Who's watching?
Have everybody hating your guts. Nice. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie. Lubitz, stick with us. Old school Tony Segreto right around the corner here on South Florida Live. Very happy to have you with us, and we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that. The time. 7:54.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against?
Is this the 50s or 1999?
All right, welcome back to the show. Going to be with you here, Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie. It's the Defo Show, and Wednesday is always a pleasure to welcome this gentleman, one of the greats of all time. I mean, just a true blue individual, real red-blooded American, and a great sports fan, tremendous sportscaster, broke over into the news department, knocked it out of the park there, and now has his hands in so many different business pies. It's hard to count, man. He's like Mother Butler when it comes to this stuff. The great Tony Segreto joins us here on the show. Tony, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. I've never heard of myself referred to as Mother Butler.
You have your hands in a lot of pies, man.
You really do. I mean, Mother Butler, to go box Lubie. I mean, this is like all these different handles going on people today. You know, I love it. I have to tell you, when I when I come back for a week, I'm coming back for like 10 days in early September. I'm going to go on this lunch tour with you guys.
Oh, you should.
You know, yeah. You guys are eating well.
No, Mayo, I mean, he's connected. Of course, he made, I think, one of the most brilliant switches.
Oh,
For you, it had to be great. I mean, you were, in there with a bunch of immortals at the time in terms of South Florida broadcasting, where you had, Ralph Rennick was on the scene there. Did you replace Rennick? I mean, how did that go?
No, I replaced Tom Randalls.
Okay, I wasn't familiar with Tom Randalls.
No, Tom was kind of it was a very interesting story. Let's just leave it there.
Okay, all right. Got a jackpot or something? What happened?
I think it's best said we do that.
Well, when they came to you, I know we've discussed this, Tony, but when they came to you and said, "Hey, why don't you become our news anchor?" What was your first thought? Well, did you look at the money? Were you like the live tour guys?
No. I was. But in short, here's what happened. I was shocked. I didn't expect it. It came right after, on the heels of Andrew. They had not yet told Tom Randalls because they were waiting to hear from my reaction.
Yeah.
And I told them I'd think about it, and they said, "Really?" I go, "Yeah," because I'm kind of, sports is kind of our thing, and we're kind of leading the pack, and I don't know if I want to leave leading the pack to be in the rear again and trying to get back to the lead of the pack. And after some negotiation and a couple of months of talking about how we would handle this, it came to pass, and it was the best thing I ever did. So
and you mentioned like your first day, like Cunanan shoots Versace and then goes hiding on a houseboat outside the Fontainebleau, and you had insight into that because you knew a guy that was close with the chef or something, and you got like a first-hand account. Everybody else was getting smoked on this story. You had no idea what happened.
Yeah, my first day trying to make sure I could make my cut my teeth in news. Versace, God bless him, gets shot in the front of his mansion, and it turns out that the first person to him, or one of the first people to him, was his private chef, and I knew him, and he gave me an exclusive interview. So, yeah, so it was, it was an interesting ride, to say the least.
Weird transition, but your heart stayed in sports, and that's what we love about you, Tony Segreto.
Listen, it is my foundation. It is, I am not, I am not going to hokey pokey it. I had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but every time they offered me something more in news, the only way I would do it or agree to do it was if I maintained some level of a sports hold. So I always maintained the coaches' shows, being able to be the front for the big events, right? So like when the World Series happened, we fronted the World Series, not only from the sports, obviously from the news end and what it meant to the community but from the sports end as well. So it enabled me to do a lot of different things, which otherwise I would not have been able to do and accomplish. So it was fabulous, to be able to go to Cuba, for example, and cover the Pope, right, and at the same time cover baseball. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So it was a charmed life for sure, and I'm very grateful for it, and I never take it for granted. That's just it is. But I have to tell you, I was going to text you 9 zillion times last night. I love growing up.
I'm going to send you that though. I just haven't,
Yeah,
I was waiting for more of it to come in, but that hasn't happened yet. We have a little issue with that, unfortunately, in the collection department.
I see. Anyway. Growing up, first of all, I went to look up the 1961 or 1962, the old home run derbies that we would see on Saturday morning. And after
1960, it ran only one season, is my understanding.
Yeah, right.
Mark
right.
Scotty had a heart attack Guy came up with the concept, and at 45,
Oh,
the year
wow.
after he got this thing going, checked out, and they didn't want to replace him.
Gosh, that's too bad. I did not know that. But I mean,
Yeah.
and I love the All-Star game. So I'm watching the All-Star game last night. First of all, I thought the American League uniforms were awful. I just thought they were god awful. The National League uniforms looked a lot better.
Okay.
I thought than okay, but I give baseball.
So you
credit.
wouldn't buy an American League jersey, even though that's the whole point of having these bizarre uniforms.
They look weird.
Yeah,
they do. They're they look cheap.
Yeah,
The way
it's a strange
it looks,
color. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the way baseball is today, and trying to get people back in, I really thought they did a remarkably great job in bringing that game to people last night. Miking up the players while they're playing. Even miking up the pitcher while he's on the mound before he throws.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I saw.
I thought it was just very, very, very good. Gave people a lot of great insight. I found it entertaining. I just really enjoyed the broadcast. I really did. I miss Buck. I miss Joe Buck on the broadcast.
I could live without Joe Buck. I mean, he's okay, but I have no beef with the guy or anything. He was professional, but he wasn't my favorite announcer by any stretch.
I just sort of he felt
baseball.
natural in baseball. Just felt when baseball was on, you felt like his voice should, like you listened to his dad. There was something about that voice that
I don't know that he ever approximated that. I don't want to.
I don't think he ever reached his dad. I'm not going to say he did, but I'm talking about
his dad was old school. I mean, that was the thing.
Oh man, he was. Yeah. That was real old school. But that said, I'd love to see what the ratings were. But I thought they did a great job in kind of bringing the game to the people, making it current. I mean, even in the commercial bumps, guys throwing popcorn at each other and having fun, and the different, the whole LA thing. I thought it was well done.
I didn't watch a lot of it. I mean, I happened to tune in and fortunately caught the only action in the game, or what seemed like it. It was already 2-0 when I turned on the game, and then I caught that fourth inning where Stanton and forget who the other guy was, went back to back. And Buxton, what was that? The other guy that hit the home run, Byron Buxton. And I'm appalled by some of this stuff, though, Tony. Not that it matters, because it's a stupid opinion, I guess, to hold, and I don't know why. I just won't let this go. This whole thing about batting average. But when I see a guy that's got like 18 home runs at the All-Star break, and he's an All-Star, and he's hitting .216.
Yeah,
like this Buxton guy, he's hitting .216.
I'm with you 1,000%.
There's nobody better. I mean, in the game at that position in that league, and a .216 hitter. Are you kidding me?
There's something inherently wrong. But on the other end, how brilliant to have Giancarlo make the team, be a starter, and how humble and how wonderful he was at the end of the game when he got the MVP award. Grew up in LA, sat in the left field stands. I just thought he handled it with so much class. And the Yankees need to take notice, because when you have guys like him and you have guys like, Judge, I just think you need to take advantage of that.
Oh, they are. They're up 13 games on the Red Sox.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, beyond that,
the talk of the town. I mean, and Major League Baseball. Although people, for some reason, want to see them unravel a little bit. I think they had lost 4 out of 7 in a stretch there before they clobbered the Red Sox just prior to the All-Star game. And already there were rumblings like, is it coming to an end? Is it time to start looking in another direction when it comes to the champion?
It happened at the same time when the Orioles were on this remarkable run. And people still, the Orioles are one of those family members that you really love, but you never talk about. And the Orioles are one of those teams that people either love them or they're not sure. There are very few people that you hear say, "Oh, I cannot stand the Orioles." That's one
they
of those
sort of
teams.
became irrelevant though over the last 15 years.
Well, they did.
They really disappeared from consciousness.
They did.
Yeah.
Once
it's not like they got Paul Blair back or something.
Well, once Ripken left, I think it became, once Ripken left the fold, it was just one of those things. But I'm just glad. I'm looking forward to see what the second half of the season brings, and now excited about what's going to happen with college football, and listening to Saban pontificate yesterday, I heard you kind of.
Well, what did you make of that? I mean, I didn't catch all of it. I'm
it's getting. You know what? It's getting tiresome.
Yeah. He's always pointing out the flaw in the game, but he's the one that is taking greatest advantage of it, and he acts like he cares, and I just don't think he does.
I was shocked to actually hear him give credit to his quarterback, saying, he's one of those guys that can either rest on his laurels or he wants to get better, and he's one of these few guys that I've had that he and my linebacker are two of the best leaders I've ever. I was like, whoa. He's not a complimentary guy. No, if he ever loses a game, how I rarely can remember him ever giving the other team credit. It's only about what his team did wrong.
We keep making mistakes like this. We're going to be playing Pop Warner.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Nick.
Yeah. So he's really not good at giving credit to anybody.
No.
And that's one of the flaws. And it just gets tiresome. It used to be. Listen. It's hard to like the guy. The guy just doesn't do anything to make himself likable. Oh. But he used to be where he didn't speak much, but when he spoke, everybody sort of listened. Now it's like, all right.
It seems like ESPN embraces this type of guy. I mean, look, they have Urban Meyer. I don't know if it's ESPN where he's coming back to as a commentator, but I thought he was just vapid and didn't really say anything of any great interest. Maybe I was missing a point with Meyer's commentary. Saban, you know what? I can never get over this, Tony. And you're old school, and you are very much entrenched and entwined with Dolphin history.
I agree.
And the Miami Dolphins culture and that business. I mean, whatever element of truth there was to it, whether it was exaggerated or just marginal, inside the offices there at the Dolphins, organization, firing these poor secretaries that had been there for like 30 years because they said, "Hey, nice haircut, Nick." Despicable. I mean, to the point of I could never respect this man again, no matter how humble he becomes in his later life, winning championship after championship, and he credits everybody else. It just seemed like a major league asshole of proportions I can't even conceive of. Who comes in there and does this upheaval with loyal employees of an organization, and how Wayne capitulated to that and just stood by and let that happen is even beyond the scope of my imagination.
How he treated Wayne was even more despicable. He just treated Wayne, he treated Wayne well while he was there, but when he left, the way he left and the way he didn't call him when he should have called them, and just I think I told you. I think I told you my story. I mean, first time
you have a Nick. You must have had many Nick experiences, no?
Yeah, they're just. It just sort of defines the guy. It sort of defines.
Now, is this a Shula thing when you the loyalty to Shula? Because Shula hated him. I mean, despised him for taking his son's job and being a jerk.
No, it's not a loyal. Listen, I am loyal to Shula. Shula is like a dad, but this is just pure Saban. The way he treated people. Like to your point, inside the office, the way he talked to them inside the office, the way he handled his players, it was despicable. The whole thing was, and you know what? It wasn't only despicable, but we saw what the outcome was. Right?
Yeah. He was doomed, though. I mean, obviously, a very fatal decision by the team physicians there to. Say that Drew Brees was a shot fighter and Dante Culpepper would be a better option.
But Saban still had the call. And Saban said,
but he's not a doctor. I mean, he just plays.
No, but you know what? Brees said he was fine. It much deeper than that. Yeah, doctor said, but at the same time, doctors also knew the kind of guy that Culpepper was. He spoke in the first person.
He couldn't walk, the guy. I mean, that was the problem.
He spoke in the first person all the time.
He wasn't the guy that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Saban had some say in that. So I don't excuse him from that either. But
okay.
But regardless, listen. We're at a new point now. That is the past. Let's see what happens.
I love that you got to a point of optimism here, Tony. I mean,
we're
here slamming Nick Saban.
I am tired of slamming Saban. It's just like
I mean, it is what it is, as they say. Yeah, I guess.
I watched him last night at the SEC days, and it was just like, oh my gosh, is this just
he's
tiresome?
insufferable. Yeah.
He comes up with a sour face.
Yes.
He stands there
Always angry.
with just and he makes he's like Belichick. He makes the media the enemy.
Yes.
And we're not the enemy. Why are
No.
we the enemy? We want to work together here. This isn't the January 6th hearings, right?
Yeah.
This isn't Watergate.
Yeah.
We're not trying to uncover lost emails.
Steve Bannon, yeah.
Yeah, we're not trying to do that. We're trying to, you're sitting there talking about college players. We want to talk to these college players. We want to know what makes them tick. We don't, we're not looking to, uncover some unbelievable, just nasty stuff on you. To the point where, and then when people tell you personally what a great guy he is, you shake his head and go, how can this person be two people like that? How is that possible? I mean, to play those two roles with so perfect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you have to be somewhat driven to have the kind of success that he's had in this kind of competitive business. And he's put himself in some great spots. He's obviously prospered and cultivated these positions to the point where you would have to respect his level of expertise. Well, what I liked about Saban, it was kind of funny. I was working at 790 at the time, and I was doing like a 7 to 10 o'clock at night shift. I had just started with that radio station after being somewhere else. And Saban had the Nick Saban show, which you were always a part of these coaches shows. And usually it was, kind of an understanding. I mean, you weren't going to press the coach on a lot of negativity. I mean, you might address the fact that, what were you anticipating 3 fumbles to start the ball game there, and did change your game plan at all? But it was usually very friendly and kind of upbeat. The fans that were out there were giant fans of the team. They just wanted to come out and say they were at the show and support everything. But Nick Saban, oddly, did a radio show, and he did it from this place called Gatsby's in Davie, which you're probably very familiar with. And I used to know the owner, Tony, there, and we did a lot of things there. They were very big in radio sports promotions. So they have the Nick Saban show hosted there. And Saban, who despised the media, as you said, I mean, very correctly characterized by you, Tony. There were known media members that I would think considered Nick Saban like a friend or anything. And he was always very paranoid, or appeared to be, around any kind of media, and didn't want to answer any questions, and already had established that if you're going to be a pain in the ass, you're going to get thrown out of here. But he invited like reporters to be on his show with him. And so he would have like the beat writers who he despised, and columnists like Greg Cody, Dave Hyde, all came out and did the show. Armando Salguero, who was never necessarily a favorite of the Miami Dolphin organization, because his job was to report things and supposedly have all kinds of inside information about the team, and it was objectionable to many of the upper level brass, some of the things that he reported, and he would be on the show.
Not just the upper level brass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I respect the fact that Armando was digging for stuff. I don't know if he was making stuff up. He seemed to have a lot of credibility, throughout his journalistic career. A decent guy. I know him personally, like you do. And whatever he was doing as his job, he was doing it well. Well enough to create attention, which is hard to do now if you're writing for a newspaper or some online entity. And Saban, for some reason, relished this opportunity, and actually, it's funny how sometimes, you're being bullied in a sense by a guy like Parcells or whatever. Everybody always wanted to get into the good graces of Parcells that was in the media, which, he was more inclined to like let somebody into his personal life, whereas Nick Saban, you didn't know if he had a personal life.
Yeah, exactly.
You assumed that he was some kind of zombie from another planet.
Exactly. I will tell you this: when I did, I did Jimmy's show. I mean, I did all the coaches shows. If there was an issue, let's just say there was a really bad game or something, or there was a controversial issue, before the show, I would say to the coach, "Say, listen, I think it's important you address it. I'm going to give you the platform, but we address it. And once we address it, we move on. To ignore it is ridiculous." So they would agree, and I would, give them the, I toss them the story, and then they would make their statement or talk about it, and then we'd move on. So we would cover the issue. But, the name of the show wasn't Tony Segreto. It wasn't Jeff DeForest or Mike Lubitz. It was the Jimmy Johnson or the Nick Saban or the Don Shula show, right? It's their show, their name. So it's their deal. And, to explain that to people, they didn't quite get that at the time.
Well, this is great, too, because I remember I was hosting radio with Don Shula, the Don Shula show that was on WIOD.
Yeah.
He had a coach's show, right? So people were complaining all the time, well, why doesn't Shula take calls? You just throw him a lot of softballs, and all you're doing is ignoring the fact that the game has passed him by and this and that. He's making all these bad decisions. He seems to be bordering on senility. I mean, the callers would call in, just passionately hammering me and the whole concept of the show. So I don't know how it came up, but Shula actually consented then to take calls on the show one week. Okay, so now all of these angry callers are going to have their shot at Don Shula. And all I was going to do was go, Joe in Miramar, you're on with the coach. And the guy could say whatever he wants. And the first 5 calls went like this. After all of his bitterness, it was like, oh, coach, so good to talk to you. These weren't setups. This is what happened to people just absolutely, melted at the opportunity and couldn't say enough in terms of strokeology. Now, I went to the Sonny Hirsch School of Coaches shows, which is, a complete stroke job. And the real importance is when is the food coming?
Exactly. Me too. We would have our shows when we would do the Dan Marino show. It was always out at a restaurant somewhere, so we would always get fed. And then when we did Jimmy's show, we had Jimmy's show catered at the studio, and it was fantastic. It was
Monty Trainer was his big guy, wasn't it? Monty Trainer was a big guy.
Yeah, but Monty didn't cater it. I forget the name. It was the catering company. These guys were great, big fans.
You know what it should have been?
Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, look at this gentleman here, Juan Arango. And you'll recognize him if you're in the Coconut Creek area. And he is the managing partner of the Texas Roadhouse there. Now, you've been there a few times, Lubie, have you not?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Juan, welcome to the show. Good to have you on, my friend.
How are you guys doing this morning?
We are doing great. Listen, we understand that Ed is probably, about dining in Paris, maybe having lunch this afternoon in Paris.
Escargot, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's there's Texas Roadhouses everywhere. I don't think you have one in Paris, but I have heard nothing about how fabulous and fantastic your stories up at Coconut Creek. For those people who maybe don't know where it is and who are wondering where they can find a Texas Roadhouse where you are, first of all, tell us exactly where you're located.
So we're located on Lions Road. It's 59. We're just down the street, right off the Sawgrass Expressway. So we've been here we're coming up on our 6-year anniversary here. And you know what? Still in great service, So it's been a great ride. He's done amazing things for us, and so we try to give back to the community as much as we can also. Absolutely.
And you guys I understand from listening to Lubie, and then I've got some friends who live up there, you guys are always packed, always busy. Tell us about this past weekend with the golf on, and we had some big baseball games going on as well.
It's summer, so it's slowed down a little bit, but we're still busy. If you could get online and get on our wait list online, that's the easiest way to the restaurant. You could just wait at home. Instead of waiting out here for an hour or so, just wait minutes. So, and then you don't have to wait 10, 15 minutes to get in. So I would suggest.
So Juan, we always ask this of Ed, and for people who have never been to the Texas Roadhouse, you are the managing partner. You've been with the company a long time. You're at that restaurant morning, noon, and night. You probably live there more than you see your restaurant people more than you see your family. So if someone's coming into the Texas Roadhouse for the first time and they said, what should we order? What is your go-to dish at Texas Roadhouse?
There's nothing like a great steak. Our steaks, we hand cut them every morning. So whatever you're getting served, it got cut that morning. Say, we have from fillets to ribeyes to sirloin. You can't go wrong with without any kind of steak that you get from us. You're not gonna go wrong. That's my suggestion. And of course, you got great sides that are freshly made. We got corn, baked potatoes, sweet potato, and if you really want, load those and caramel. It's a dessert in itself. So
it is.
So yeah, any kind of steak you can't go wrong. Absolutely.
Well, I can tell you this.
Go wrong with our.
Yeah, I tell you this. We were giving Lubie a little bit of a hard time because his nickname is To Go Box. But here's what I have done at Texas Roadhouse, because we got a bunch of steaks at the restaurant there, and some of them weren't done. So we couldn't finish them. So we brought the steaks home with some rolls, and making a sandwich late at night or the next day was the bomb diggity, man. That is the way to do it. You take some of those rolls home with your leftover steak, you've got sandwiches that will knock your socks off. So I think that may not be a bad way to go, Juan.
Absolutely. Like you said, our rolls are amazing. I'll tell you, we make around 2,000 rolls a day for the rolls, but they're amazing. I think people will come in and and on the way out they'll go, hey, let me get some more rolls for the way out. So it's and that honey cinnamon butter, oh my God, it's amazing. So we make that. Great people out there. We make everything in house. So that's one of our big attractions, is that we make everything here. So.
All right, Juan. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us. You did a great job pinch hitting for Ed. And for those interested, make sure you take in the Texas Roadhouse in Coconut Creek. Great spot. And again, you can't go wrong. Juan, thank you for joining us.
Guys, have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Juan
Arango.
Doesn't that sound
you don't take the sweet and low out with you, Tony, when you're there? That's a Miami tradition, is it not? I can see your lovely wife with a purse full of rolls.
No. But I will tell you this. When I was growing up, God rest my parents' soul, I don't know. I think you may have told me about your mother. Was your mother a smoker, Jeff? My mom.
No, she didn't smoke.
My mother, early on in my life, she was a smoker.
Yeah.
And we did not have one ashtray in the house that wasn't logoed with some hotel that we stayed in.
Yeah.
It was incredible. There wasn't one just like normal ashtray with nothing on it. It was, south of the border, the Holiday Inn, Howard Johnson's, the hotels at the time. It was Singapore, the Singapore Inn, whatever it was. It was just incredible.
Kind of crazy, yeah. My dad smoked, and then he quit cold turkey, long before.
My mom did too. My mother did too.
Somehow in his 40s, I guess he just decided one day that was it. And he was smoking like 2 packs of Camels a day, man. This was the real deal.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know anything about this stuff at the time. It seemed cool, right? Everybody wanted to be the Marlboro man. I can't for some reason, think of Tony Segreto leaving with a, fistful of sweet and low out of a Texas Roadhouse restaurant.
No.
Lubie, on the other hand,
first of all, sweet and low is so bad for you anyway.
Yeah.
Why would you want to put it in your hand? Or even
because it's free. It's there. That's why do people steal stuff? Half the time because it's the challenge of it, I guess. Trying to get away with something.
Challenge. Yeah. You get up from the table, you grab it, you put it in your pocket. Where's the challenge? What are you slinking out?
The manager following you out the door saying, "Would you care to pay for that?"
Are you going out the back door of the restaurant?
Ribeye steak at Texas Roadhouse. I wanted to say this, to Juan, and it's interesting because I believe this story originated in that Coconut Creek area, and it was on Mike Mayo's Facebook page with 84,000 subscribers, called Let's Eat South Florida. And then it turned into a news story because I was watching the TV news, which, I'm a big TV news fan. And they actually picked this story up where a restaurant, I believe it's called the Ramblewood Diner or something, or Ramblewood something, which seemed to be a respected establishment, had on the bottom of the check added an temporary inflation charge. And they whacked whoever this was for an extra 8%. which I guess if you knew that going in, you could make a decision right then and there whether you wanted to, subject yourself to paying this extra 8%. There's great justification for it in the sense that food costs have skyrocketed. I
They
mean,
really have.
just literally, going to the grocery store, people always say this. It seems like, you'd say this forever. Back in the day, you used to be able to get like a whole bag of groceries. No, literally, you get nothing, right? I was in the store. had 4 items, Tony. Nothing particularly fancy or schmancy. $35, 4 items.
Yeah,
Crazy, right?
I walked out of the grocery store the other day. The bill was $78, and there was no protein in it.
Nothing.
No protein in my basket. Like,
you got a bunch of wafers. Yeah,
it's like, are you? I'm looking through my bag and going, "Where's the $74?"
Gluten-free wafers, man, have skyrocketed in cost of late. But it was interesting because people had obviously most of the opinion was not favorable on this move, but a lot of people saw the justification for it also. But somehow Texas Roadhouse, how they do this? I mean, with the prices on their steaks, it's just amazing. They've been able to, and this is really an incredible testament to the way they run a business, that they could, and why they're so crowded all the time. I mean, the stuff is just, it happens to be, you would have to say cheap by any standards while having a high level of quality. It's amazing.
Well, I think part of what they do so well that's made this happen is that they keep their people. The people at these Texas Roadhouses, like the chefs, for example, they've been with them 15 years or 12 years. They're not just coming and going, right? That like Runway 84, man, people have been with them for decades and decades. That's what, and they just know this, they know the process. And all the people within the Texas Roadhouse family, I mean, from top to bottom, have been with the company for long, well beyond a decade. And when you get to be with the company that long, and then it trickles down into your managers and co-managers, like Juan Arango has been with the company a really long time.
And they have a big stake in the way the restaurant is run also.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody's
no pun intended, as you say.
No. Everybody's got a piece of the pie here. So they work hard to make sure that listen, we're at a point in our lives where the customer is looking to be taken care of. And I don't mean being given things, although that's, nice if somebody gives you an appetizer or whatever the case might be. But just eat, no matter what you do. Like I deal with a pest control company up here. They couldn't be better. They're amazing. They answer the phone. They answer your questions. They show up when they're supposed to show up, and they do their job. Right? That's all you ask.
Yeah, you're talking like raccoons? I mean, what kind of pests are you talking about here? You're in the woods there, Tony.
No. You get your normal stuff, you ant around or whatever. But the point being is that you want to deal with companies, and companies that succeed are the ones that treat you well, keep their costs down, are consistent in what they do, and they promise, they live up to their promises.
Yep.
That's what it amounts to.
Yeah. I mean, we're lucky to have these people behind us.
Yeah,
Catholic Health Services, same kind of organization.
All
right, well, we'll get into some more stuff here. I don't know if you want to get into this golf thing over the weekend. That was kind of interesting for me from many different perspectives.
Yeah, I was interested to see how this whole thing played out.
Wow, and the Live Tour thing is really getting even more.
That's even more tired. That's more tiresome than Saban. That's just like, okay.
Saban, it's amazing because guys like that really aren't very personable, all of a sudden they become commentators or they make a statement like Saban does. I guess whatever he says, for some reason, people are going to make a gigantic deal out of it. But, I mean, it's not like he's saying anything so surprising, except that he always seems to be on the sanctimonious side of what more, normal people would think was the good of college football. And yet he's, the biggest advocate for taking advantage of what else, the circumstance he's complaining about.
Yes.
So, that it's going to kill the game.
And again, we'll end this here, but I would love, I'm afraid that if he smiled, it would actually cause
passes gas. Yeah.
Well, his face would crack or something.
We thought that of Frank Gifford when we saw him in an elevator later in his life.
Yeah, I just don't understand why he's just. Life is good. You're making a ton of dough. You're providing opportunities for young men. You're winning championships. Life is good, man. Smile once in a while. It's not.
You'll find
hard.
any number of people, especially Bama alumni, that say he's a wonderful person with a warm heart.
Listen, as long as Bama alumni is for the Bama folks, as long as you win, baby, As long as you win, they don't care who's coaching. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, he inherited all of Mike Shula's recruits there. So
yeah, he did.
He doesn't often mention Mike Shula or give him any credit for that. I'll give this to Nick Saban though, just to finish it up. He's not afraid to put like powerful people on his staff. Now we know who's running the show, but man, that staff is better than most professional teams have in terms of qualifications.
Well, their facilities are better than professional teams have. When teams leave Alabama, when players leave Alabama to go to professional teams, they're stepping down. They walk into facilities, they go, "What is this?"
Yeah,
right?
but you're looking at some guy that was like a GM in the NFL and a longtime coach with almost as many wins as Shula, and he's the assistant offensive line coach at Alabama now. You're like, wow, how does he get these guys to do
Well, you
this?
get paid $1.2 million.
They get paid, like NFL.
Right, to keep a couple of charts on some fat guys. All right, coming back with more old school Tony Segreto. We'll get into this British Open, see what Tony thought about that. It was a very interesting tournament. From many perspectives, including a losing gambling perspective on my part, although the professor cashed at 22-1 on Cameron Smith. Though, why didn't we think of this guy? Because, Tony, he had laid an egg for me in a previous tournament. I let that filter into my thinking. Didn't have him. But the guy that killed me was Colin Morikawa. Killed me. Missed the cut. All right, back with more with Tony Segreto, old school, in a moment. Now that.
The time.
When am I going to stop crying about this Morikawa thing?
No idea.
I don't know. It's going to take me a while to get over this one. That was 5 times.
You can't let things go, can you?
No, he doesn't.
$5,000 out the window, Tony, over one putt. It's 8:32. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
A young person at a crossroads in life has an opportunity that otherwise would not be there. A Tony Segreto charity event, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars to help young people to find themselves in today's chaotic universe. A noble endeavor through college athletics, hardworking coaches, many hours of practice, many hours cracking the books. There is an answer out there for NCAA athletics. Yes, it does involve the pursuit of virtue. And nobody better to expose that and generate that thought than the great Tony Segreto.
The morning just isn't right without Defo. It's now time for the Defo Show.
There's a certain righteousness to this guy that we dig. Tony Segreto with us here. Old school with Tony Segreto on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz, South Florida Live. Great to have you along for the ride. Always appreciate the input from the people out there on the chat line. All right. Some of my references obviously have become cliche about this at this point because I've used them so many times. But it is true. With the British Open, I want to see adverse conditions. And this year gave the most clear and clairvoyant type of evidence that without adverse conditions, this tournament sucks. I mean, it's just a joke. The course is a joke. St. Andrews with all the steeped in tradition and all of this garbage. I mean, what was a pitch and putt course for these guys? An absolute atrocity. Guys that haven't raised a gallop on the tour in years, all of a sudden they're like 18 under. It's amazing how they destroyed this thing. Now, I want to see.
I'm playing my violin. Go ahead.
I was going to say.
Oh, I want to see, and I've said this a few times. It really, I mean, if you can just, capture the image, I want to see the caddies looking like the deckhands on Deadliest Catch.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I want to see fish flying in the face of the golfers as they line up there. I want to see rough that is so thick you can't conceive of ever getting out of it. I don't want to see everybody, shooting 14 under par, third round. I mean, it was crazy how easy that course was. Tony, come on. You're not going to tell me that, give me a steeped in tradition, a story of greatness.
Yeah, I am. It is.
Oh, please.
Listen, the course itself
that was the John Deere
difficult.
Classic. What was that?
John Deere Classic.
All right, let's go play.
Come on. You're going to pull out. Like, Hank hated that, man. I mean, from the grave, he's screaming, I never played pro sports, but I know what I'm talking about. I mean, look, I'm not a golfer. I can't play the course, but those guys destroyed it.
You know what? The weather conditions were good. They were hot. They were able to.
They were driving the green on the par fives.
Who wants that on a British? You want it to be like it's
I
London.
get what you're saying.
I want 3 over to win the thing, man.
Like
3 over.
I want to see an NFL playoff game in the snow. I get it. I totally get it.
No, but here, without those conditions, the tournament sucked. It really did. I mean,
it sucked because you
had its
lost
drama,
$5,000 on a putt. That's why it sucked. It wouldn't have sucked if you won the tournament.
It still would have sucked. Believe me, the money wasn't the sole motivation for this opinion.
You're so full of crap. You know that.
When is it fun to watch? It's fun to watch when the wind is blowing at 180 miles an hour in these guys' faces.
I agree. I love to see adverse conditions like anybody else. I love like I said, when during NFL football, when it's playoff time, you want to see the game at Green Bay. You want to see where it's 5 below zero when they're playing. You get it. I get it. I understand it.
I want Chuck Mercine catching every pass in the flat and skating into the end zone.
It wasn't that way. And listen, having played over there, these guys putting from 50 yards off of the green.
Okay, that was a pitch and putt, like I said. Pitch and putt, man.
It didn't bother me.
The road hole, they may as well have just made it the windmill hole. That's the way that looked to me. With a little orange ball. Even Ernie Els was playing a colored golf ball.
Let me know when you're done.
I'm not done. I mean, come on, Tony. How could you ignore the obvious, man? I mean, you sound like a Trump supporter here. I mean, this unfortunately.
Don't you dare! That's not only a logo.
You're in denial.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to go there. I could have called you an asshole, and it would have been better than to say this. Yes, I understand that, but. No, Tony, come on. You have to admit that watching guys drive the green on the par fours, not even like it wasn't like it was just DeChambeau. I mean, it was everybody. And the putting, these guys are such brilliant putters that it's almost unfathomable that they could be, it doesn't bother them that they're 100 feet away of undulating, greens that look like, the Himalayas. It doesn't matter to them. They put the ball right there. It's amazing to me how the accuracy they have.
It was foreign to the eye to watch them, to watch them dominate that course.
Yeah.
I will admit that it was foreign to us because there's usually, the
bunkers,
rain,
and all this stuff.
It rains, the rain is horizontal. The wind is always, gale force. We didn't have any of that. They hit it right, and it was rare to see. And I understand I understand how it can be unsettling. And after a while, you go, God, they're just killing it. And you're looking to see if you could see, in the TV screen if there's a cloud overhead.
Exactly.
That may
Give me
provide.
something.
Yeah. That will give you some.
Did they remove all those ugly bushes that they have out there in that course also? Because nobody was ever stuck in something that you said, what is that, a porcupine?
That to me was more amazing. Forget that there wasn't bad weather.
Yeah.
But to me, what was
no
amazing
obstacles.
They really never put themselves in a position where they needed a machete to get out of the rough.
Exactly.
A couple of guys, but not rare. I mean, usually you'll see a guy in trouble.
Sometimes you can't see them
on every hole. Yeah.
When they get in the rough, you're looking for them. They're
holding in a wheat field
like
somewhere.
this.
Yeah, you're waiting for a ball field to
I
emerge
will admit that.
out of a cornfield. Yeah.
But guy still won the British Open, and it's still
I'm taking nothing away from the winner. He won the thing. It was a remarkable.
But I will tell you, to your point,
no question.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to give you a hard time, but to your point,
that's all right. I don't mind a hard time.
From now on, when all the guys meet with the British Open, all the champions meet, they're going to give him so much. What? Because they're going to go, well, you played. The weather was perfect.
Yeah.
You didn't you didn't play when we were hitting into 70-mile-per-hour winds where you hit the ball up and it comes right back in your face and it lands on the tee box again.
Those are the shots I love. Yeah. Where the ball's behind the guy and you lay one.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
I've hit a few of those, man.
Exactly.
That second thwack off the tree and it comes right back at you. Everybody's going like, duck. Right, and you're thinking, where's my ball? And you look, it's behind you.
Exactly.
Even though you teed off from the women's tees, you're still.
Exactly. How? Where is it?
Anyway, I lose out because, and this never happens, right? The defending champion, Colin Morikawa, who is always reliable in these spots. I mean, the guy's pretty clutch, and he misses the cut by one shot, and he was the one guy I had that missed the cut, and then all my other guys really were very prominent in the standings, enough so that I would have won the thing if this guy had just made the cut and even shot even par. Well, maybe a couple under, for the 2 rounds that he was left in the tournament when everybody was annihilating par. So you have every reason to anticipate he probably would have gotten it together. And none of these holes were difficult to navigate. They were in birdie position on almost on every hole. Yeah.
Double eagles became common, and
double eagles. Yeah. I mean, the guy, I guess he holed out from the fairway on a par 5, but no, I mean, they were always in position putting for eagle on the par 5s. And, it just seemed like there was no degree of difficulty there, which, like to see a little bit of a test, no?
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it. It was one of those weekends where the weather was perfect, the course played perfect, and these guys killed it.
People were wearing sunscreen. This is Scotland, for God's sake, Tony. I mean, they're supposed to be wearing heavy coats with fur hats on, and
looking
like
and a beer in their hand. Yeah,
right, and they've been out sheep herding all day or something. I mean, these people there look like they were in Palm Springs for a tournament. It's incredible. All right, now we've discussed this Live Tour thing. You're not a fan of it.
No.
Greg Norman was not allowed to come.
I'm tired of those guys too. They're whining and they're doing everything they can to justify what they're doing. When you really feel deep inside, they know what's going on, and now they're trying to justify it. And that's, to me, is what it's even more disgusting to hear.
What hits you the most about it? I mean, Donnie Trump just came out with a thing because they're going to play at his course. It's in New Jersey, and they're going to play the next tournament there. The 9/11, there's a 9/11 movement, as you might imagine, that is going to be out there protesting, saying, hey, the Saudis, this very same guy who was financing this 9/11, travesty, are the same people, I guess. And how can you possibly dignify this by allowing them to, have this big spotlight with all these top name golfers? And the Trumpster said, I mean, these guys are going to regret that they're on the PGA Tour now, not signing up for this, because eventually he sees this like the old USFL where there's going to be a merger or something.
And that worked well.
And, he thinks that they're going to regret not taking the money up front. That was his statement as he justifies them playing on his golf course, which... yeah.
With cockiness and arrogance.
What do you think's going to happen with that, though? I mean, as long as they're doling out this kind of cash, which, they apparently, and as we've known, have an endless supply of. I mean, this is coming out of some fund that was set aside. I mean,
let me ask you.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Are you going to watch the tournament?
No, I don't even know where to find it. I mean, it's not being televised.
I have no interest in it, and I think They can have all the money in the world, but if no one's watching, if people aren't interested, then what's the point? I mean, the USFL may have been, capitalized and cashed, as much cash as they possibly wanted, but if nobody's watching and nobody's paying attention, after a while you go, well, and who cares? I could care less. I could care less who plays and when the tournament is. There's no history. There's no tradition. I'm not interested in watching a new history and tradition begin. I love the way the PGA plays. I love the tournaments that are traditional. I know when the tournaments are. I know when Doral, all those tournaments are. If I'm being old school, then I'm being old school. If I'm being stubborn, then I'm being stubborn. I don't think we should be supporting the Saudis. I think these players are fooling themselves. And I think at the end of the day, they're going to probably walk out with a ton of cash, but this thing's going to fold. I just do not see it maintaining itself without people paying attention. After a while, you have to get paid attention to.
Yes. You want
maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe they've resigned, that or resolved that with themselves. And
but the point is, okay, we have people that are putting on our chat line. We have Julian, we have Jimmy Sarney, we have a lot of other guys and people watching. Listen, are you going to watch? Do you care? First of all, where do we watch? What time do we watch? What's the name of the tournament? Who's playing? What's the big deal? What's the payout? I know, you
have a handful of guys that still could be considered in their prime from the U.S. and a lot of European, not necessarily complete has-beens, but guys that are very much on the back end of what were decent careers.
I would much rather watch the senior tour.
It sort of is like an interim senior tour, is what this is, Tony. I mean, you got guys in their 40s that have not necessarily been overwhelmingly prominent.
I get more and more angry and upset when I think of Phil Mickelson doing this. I just bothers me.
This gets to you, Tony.
It really does. It just bothers me, and I think again the way he portrays himself in this deal.
He almost seems ashamed of it when the questions come up, and yet has no justification for it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. While they try and justify it, you can tell inside. You can tell that they know they're just spewing balderdash. They're trying to spin it the right way. Yeah. I don't think they had any idea that the pushback and the way people reacted would be so powerful.
Do you think it's actually doing any damage? Though I mean, obviously it's very upsetting to have it in the background, of the World Trade Center there. Playing in New Jersey.
I agree, and I think it does. But if these guys signed a deal, they're basically screwed. What are they?
Oh no, they're all playing it. They, most of the guys have justified it. There were a lot of questions being fired. The British press is a little, relentless in this regard. And even though there were several guys at their various press conferences, just said, "Hey, look, enough already with this crap." Right? Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. Which is all anybody was talking about. And that's kind of the. I don't know that they would be getting any attention if it wasn't for, this whole business where people constantly bring up, do you have a conscience, while you're playing there? And, most of them are justifying it saying, hey, this is the business we have chosen, and tell everybody else not to do business with the Saudis. And we'll consider you guys have a point.
That's the whole thing. Listen, if this were someone in Great Britain, if this were someone in, you pick a spot. And they go and they've got an endless supply of cash, and they go, I want to start this tour. I don't think there'd be half. I don't think there'd be hardly any pushback. They'd go, wow, that's interesting. I don't know how well they're going to do, but and also kind of go.
It's like the World Football League or something.
Yeah, let's work in conjunction with the PGA. Let's figure out a way to make this work. But no, this is the Saudis, arching their back. Going, listen, we've got the bigger stick with a pot of cash at the end of it. We're going to do something, and the heck with everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
buying a lot of golfers.
Kind of the way I feel about it.
All right. Very strong sentiments there. Tony Segreto, Old School. Also brought to you by Catholic Health Services, which, wow. I mean, you talk about the ultimate when it comes to integrity and just ethical guidelines that they operate with. And then, really, going beyond that, healthcare, the word care has kind of gone out of the healthcare industry. It's like health, I don't care industry. And that's why you really need people like this, to maintain the integrity of what once was a very proud business, and that is healthcare.
What happened to the compassion? What happened to the absolute, concern for the patient? I get that the healthcare system is being stretched and overwhelmed with people who are not well. But you know what? We need to schedule better. There's got to be a better way to do it. Catholic Health Services has found that magic bullet where they can have a number of patients come into their facilities, but each patient is treated like family. Each patient is made to feel special because they are special. Each patient, the doctors, the nurses, their therapists, and the administrators know intimately. They know their families. They know what's needed to get them better. They know what they do every day. They know what they're fed. The people who feed them, who make their food, make sure that their diet will handle this. There's not too much salt. There's not too much this. There's not too much that. They care. They absolutely care about you. And while they're doing this care, they're doing it with an expertise and a panache and a professionalism that is unmatched. Catholic Health Services is defined by all of this. They live by this mantra every single solitary day. When they punch in and they walk into those buildings at Catholic Health Services, their ego is left behind, even if they have one, and they go on to do what? Care for people. Deep in their heart, they care for these people, right? They care for their families. They keep them involved. They keep them, alerted to what's going on. Yeah, again, my wife is going through this day in and day out, and they finally found a facility where they're like Catholic Health Services, where these people come in and they check on them every day. They check on them every hour. Hey, even if they pop their head in, you'll see this at Catholic Health Services. Hey, Lubie, how you feeling today? You need anything? Where does that happen? Not many places. Catholic Health Services, pardon me, is the place to bring your loved one, any kind of rehab, anything you need. And you know what else? They're there for you to answer your questions.
Man, that's the thing.
If you have questions and you want to know something, call them. Go to their website if they don't have the answer on the website. Ask for somebody to help you out, to guide you, to give you the right avenue to get your loved one and yourself better. With Defo, every week we go back to it, but God bless you, man. Your mom, you put your mom in the best possible position for her last days. Oh my
God, what a difference. Well, and as you said, for the family with the communication, I mean, you did something like this, I would call the hospital, which had a good reputation, where my mom was before she passed away. And, you would get something like, hey, is DeForest still in 708?
Yeah,
got a phone call, I mean, like, what? You don't even know where she is? I mean, please. And they couldn't tell you anything about it. And then I was amazed, Tony, and I've told you, my brother is very discriminating when it comes to this sort of stuff, and not quick to, start, lauding places with hyperbole. And he could not believe it. He was so impressed with the professionalism at every level of Catholic Health Services that, wow, it's a night and day difference, people. Trust Tony when he tells you, as he says, and, take it from me also. I experienced it firsthand from a total level of frustration to the point where you're just screaming into the phone, even though you haven't dialed a number, just to get something off your chest, to completely understanding everything and feeling completely at ease with what was going on. Great stuff on Catholic Health Services.
I want to be straight up here, folks. Those of you listening, those of you watching, we have two sponsors, and we love them on the show. And yes, we talk about them because of what they do. But regardless of whether they're our sponsors, it has nothing to do with it. These are two remarkable companies who treat their people well, who treat their customers and their patients well, and they do it every single day. All we ask you is to give it a try. If you need Catholic Health Services, try it. If you're hungry, go out. You may not like it, but I guarantee you, Your family will love going to Texas Roadhouse.
You're going to love the tie when you get it too, because
Exactly.
it's going to be very, very light on the pocketbook. All right, we'll come back and wrap things up. Tony Segreto, old school, always terrific having Tony on the show here. And we'll come back and wrap things up on the Defo Show with Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm Jeff DeForest, and back with more in a moment. Now that. It's 8:55.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you
just kind of early research and have this whole thing about, hey, check out what Hammer and Hank has to say. So I clicked the link and you got to pay $9.95 to see what Hank wants.
His Hank? Are you kidding me? Holy Hank.
So
he's accomplishing the dream.
Hold on a second now. So it's 7 a.m. I'm looking yesterday morning at 7 a.m., right? 7 a.m. here.
Drew down to 10?
So no. So it's 7 a.m. here. It's 4 a.m. in Vegas. I call him up and I go, hey, you better call me up because I'm not paying $9.95 to get your pick. About 2 hours later, I call his sister Liz, who lives in Vegas too, and I said, hey, make sure Hank calls me back. And she's laughing. I can't even stop her from laughing. And what's so funny? She goes, I just heard from the guy who's directing the race. And he called and he said, you tell Hank, I'm not paying $9.95 for his picks. So I'm going to watch him deliver.
Who is he, a mass jockey all of a sudden?
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Welcome back to the show. As we're wrapping things up, old school this week, another edition flying by here with the great Tony Segreto. I'm Jeff DeForest. He is Mike Lubie Lubitz, South Florida Live. A lot of chatter taking place on our chat line. We always like to see that from the participants out there. And we had that clip about Hank, who passed away a couple of weeks ago, July 4th, on his birthday at the age of 82, I
82,
guess.
82, on his birthday, yeah.
Yeah, on his birthday. And it's funny, I was a tribute posted on my Facebook page by Chris Visser, who, of course, was a very prominent radio figure here in South Florida for many years as a program director at WQAM when they went all sports. And he had done a lot of other things. He kind of discovered Mike Golick as a radio talent, working with him when he was at a station in Arizona, picked him out of the woodwork. And, next thing you know, the guy's making $5-10 million a year doing ESPN morning radio. For many, many years. And Chris was a producer with Hank, and he was telling a story about how he was at the track for the first time, and he finally, he saw Hank, picking horses, and he finally went and he put $2 a show on, some horse. That was his first ever bet, and he came raving back to Hank that he won, and he won 20 cents. And Hank then labeled him with what would be, probably the most offensive and hideous nickname that you could possibly have if you were in any kind of degenerate circles, and that would be Mr. Chalk. And he never felt so small in his lifetime as to be now considered Mr. Chalk, milk of
Yeah.
magnesia, after going crazy about a 220 show payoff that he got, which obviously is marginal at best. But
very
no,
funny.
Hank definitely. I keep thinking about it. As people have been asking me about Hank in the last couple of weeks, and what I thought about this and that, and I always tell them the same story that as once again, insufferable as he appeared to be at times as a host or even as a person out in public, he was a great guy.
Yeah,
He really was. And, I didn't realize how much he did on TV, Tony. I mean, it's like when you start talking about some of the stuff with the sports final that you started and all of these things and the sports machine, anything with sports as a preface.
Yeah.
You were a part of sports biscuit, sports this, sports that.
He was
sports bagel.
Man, we did a lot. We did. We did a lot. We did a lot. And in fact, I think he was partly instrumental with me doing the WWOR horse racing weekend. I used to do horse racing.
That's right. Weren't you on like a harness racing show or something?
No. This was thoroughbreds. This was
thoroughbreds. Okay.
Yeah, at Gulfstream or at Hialeah or at Calder, and I would do it with Sam Rennick.
Sam Rennick, I remember this guy. Yeah,
former jockey. Yeah. So we would do 3 or 4 races every Saturday live on WWOR, and it was Hank was special guy. Hey, listen, before we go today, if we're going to get Jim Sarney to help us out here, we got to get up. I told Ed that we would, even though he's in Paris, that we would figure out a contest and get this contest ramped up so we can start promoting it.
Let's go
for a Texas Roadhouse thing. So, Lubie, I'm going to leave you with that task, and we'll figure. Well, who else am I going to leave it to? Jeff can't send me money. I'm not going to ask him.
There's a check coming, Tony. I was holding out for more. I really was. I don't know what's going on with one of these transactions, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I thought so. Everybody, listen up, because we're gonna have a contest for dinner with all of us at Texas Roadhouse for a night out, and then there may be a few other little things we can figure out to throw in there or something.
Just giving away a few dinners there, too, would be pretty cool. Because maybe we have that drawing every week for the people that enter. They get a free dinner, and then the grand prize winner walks off with the whole big shindig there, where we all go out. Maybe to Coconut Creek there, which is nearby.
Yeah, whatever one. We go out for drinks and we make it a full night. Yeah, we make a full night of it. Take pictures, whatever they want to do, and I think it would be. I think
we load up your home betting account, and then we start betting some games. No.
Yeah,
that would be, I'm sure, within the parameters of legality when it came to contests being.
I have to tell you. So I thought about this real quick. So we got some big opening games in the college football season, right?
Yes,
big openers coming up. I'm not sure if I'm ready to bet openers. Because
who knows? Yeah.
I mean, can you read some of those openers?
These aren't. They don't look like really marquee games. I mean, this is a Saturday, August 27th.
It's a lot of
and Nebraska's playing. They have Nevada, New Mexico State, Utah State, UConn, Illinois. I mean, these are kind of the schmenky games that go like the week before the real teams get into action.
Yeah, I know you got Notre Dame, Ohio State. And
well, maybe that's the subsequent week.
Next week, Labor Day weekend, there's games like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Memorial Day weekend, I think is it, right?
Remember when they only had like the Kickoff Classic? The Canes were in the original version of that, I believe. In like the late '80s, I want to say, and that was like a shocker. Wow, can you believe it? They got one game, and it's going to be played 2 weeks before the rest of these teams. And now I guess they have a full slate of sort of
Hey, how about
mid-tier games?
Yeah, September. I believe the game is September 10th. Miami travels to play Texas A&M. That should be
and Bama A&M is right. What? That's early in the season also.
Texas Oklahoma's early in the season as well.
I want to see Saban and Jimbo duke it out at the middle of the field. I really want to see. Jimbo, he's more inclined to throw a punch because he's not.
I think Jimbo is more inclined to throw a punch.
Yeah, I think he throws a punch at Nick Saban. I'm gonna take over on one punch delivered, no jab. He comes with a roundhouse right. I mean,
does Saban fold?
Deontay Wilder style. He just comes with a big roundhouse right, hits him right in the temple, and that's it. Saban goes down, and the whole world is in shock. All right, Tony, we love you, and I'll get that out to you today.
Love you guys. Yeah, okay.
The latest payment here, and
we love you, Tony, man.
I have a pen in my hand right now. I'm going to take care of that, and and
somehow
then hopefully
between now and when you sign that check, the pen will drop on the floor and he won't be able to remember.
Hopefully there's more to come. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. All right. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Segreto. All right. That'll do it for us. We ran a little overtime here with Tony, but it was a lot of fun. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm Jeff DeForest. Mike Mayo's coming up with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox on South Florida Live. That's at 12 o'clock today. Always a lot of fun. We're not eating anywhere today, but you guys will be on the road tomorrow. With Nikki Mohan. That's always a lot of fun. Watch the stream there. Nikki's a delight. And long time, real polished broadcaster too, huh? Nikki Mohan, she knows how to, kind of grab hold of the situation and make things happen. All those years with the great late Todd Tongan on Channel 10 News. And she'll be joining Mike tomorrow at some ice cream shop somewhere for this Lauderdale deal that he has going, Lauderdale Deals. And it's interesting that, wow, I mean, what happened to him? Sweet Tooth, is that the deal? Should have gone to Costa's. I mean, wow. I mean, when you want to go back there for a return trip, that was great yesterday.
Yep.
That falafel is in my fridge, calling my name, Jim Sarney, in case you were wondering. Yes, that is going down. That's a 3-day proposition for me, though, that falafel. Did you see that thing, Lubie?
No, I didn't get to see it.
It was insane.
It was nice.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7. Hopefully we'll start on time. I think we got that resolved, and that was good. We always like the panic that's created when we disappear because people think that's it. His number's finally up. The forest is finished. All right, we'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
Time.
Thanks to Hialeah Park, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, of course, Texas Roadhouse, Catholic Health Services. A lot of fun representing all of these people. It's 9:07.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.